Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Thursday, the 3rd of September, comes to you from London, and we see here a mixed picture with different prices on different colours on the screen, telling us we've got just a mixed market at a first glance. The dollar has actually recovered a little bit this week, so the dollar index is back into short-term bullish territory. It's better news for the dollar. We do still have some downside targets hanging over us. Remembering this is my long-term, my medium-term, and my short-term view of the market, weekly, daily, and 60-minute cloud charts with corresponding point and figure charts for the same time horizons, long-term, short, medium-term, and short-term. So the dollar is still medium-term and long-term bearish, but short term it's improved, and that's above the clouds, so it's short term bullish. That means the euro has pulled back, couldn't quite hold that 120 mark, was only above it momentarily, and we are back to bearish on the cloud chart, although we do still have these upside targets, but it's looking increasingly like a high pole here, which will imply that we will see a target to the downside. The dollar yen is sitting steady at about 106. If we look at sterling, 133 against the US dollar, so quite key there. Bitcoin is sitting at $11,300, just really in the doldrums here. We see through most of August we've sat around this level. Long term we are still in recovery mode, but short term we've just turned bearish again. US stocks had another great day yesterday, and we see the S&P after that breakout candle last week, we're just pushing ever higher to new highs this week, so still looking good. There is a shortage of short term upside targets, but we've got medium and long term targets, some 17-18% higher on the point and figure chart, so quite key there. The Nasdaq, of course, is continuing to look incredibly bullish, as well as shortage of short-term targets, the only issue here. The Dow making a new move above that 29,000 point level, not yet getting to a new all-time high, but looking very bullish, and given the S&P and the Nasdaq looking quite likely. The futures today, the S&P future down 0.1%, and the Nasdaq E-mini is down 0.4%, so it does suggest that the markets will open just a little bit lower today. The VIX volatility has actually kicked up despite the markets really improving. We have seen that kick up in the VIX, and this is just trending higher here, so that is a little bit of a concern for stocks on the short-term chart, but the medium and long-term position, we're still seeing that steady trend lower for the VIX. Of course, falling VIX is good for for stocks. If we see a spike in the VIX, that's normally a precursor to market sentiment turning bearish. The UK market, the FTSE 100 index is up 0.7%. And the DAX is up 1.3%, so strong performances there. The CAC 40 in Paris is up 1.7%. Has been in the doldrums really for 3 months here. Europe nowhere near pushing new highs like the US, of course. We see Japan was up 0.5% overnight, and Hang Seng and China were down 0.5%. Still a long-term bearish trend on the Hang Seng and on the Shanghai Composite, so lower there as well. Taking a look at the Sensex in India, we see here we're still struggling to make new highs, but we are back above the cloud on the long-term chart, medium and short-term bullish. So India is recovering. The Aussie market was up 0.8% overnight, so improvement there. Sentiment improving in markets has hit gold a little bit, so we're seeing gold just selling off. We are short-term bearish, but the medium and long-term charts are still bullish. The long-term chart, of course, we hit above 2,000 for the first time in gold, $2,000 an ounce, so that's looking pretty good. Silver holding on to $27, but again, short-term bearishness just creeping in there, so we are just seeing a bit of a fallback. US 10-year yield sitting at 0.6%. They've fallen quite consistently this week. We were at 0.75%. We're back to 0.2%. We are just seeing the trend lower there. But at the moment, it is still looking like the levels we saw back in March are the low. And so that was quite key for the markets as well. Taking a look at the energy mix, crude oil has fallen really sharply over the last 24 hours. So we're back to 43.50, so quite a big move there. WTI down 1.5%. It's heading lower with further downside targets. So we are seeing a sell-off in crude. US nat gas also falling back quite significantly to 246. So we are seeing a move just lower there. The long-term picture, of course, is still a very bullish one, but we're seeing on the 60-minute chart we are just pushing lower, and we have got multiple downside targets. Coal is falling back to $56.20, having had a strong recovery last week. We're falling away this week, and emissions sitting steady at 28 euros. Gas in Europe up 3% on UK gas and 5% on Dutch European gas TTF. Last of all, German power up 0.5%, just holding that 42 euro mark. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.